was rough. Rough past few days. Rough past few days. Double barrel recap action today, and then double barrel what if as well. But yeah, it's been rough the last few days for our guys. So had some guys come back from injury now. Other guys getting injured, and we're going to talk about all that. And man, jeez, really got to get back on track here. But anyways, so I'm going to talk about both of these losses over these last couple of days. The Penguins lost from Thursday, and the Isles lost from this weekend as well. And then little check-in ahead, really. A couple what-ifs as well. So pretty busy day today. Let's go ahead and hop into it. So first thing, the Penguins game. 4-3 loss. Probably shouldn't have been that, but we will dive in a little more. First loss of the season to the Penguins this year. We're going to play them 3 times. 4-3 loss. 7-game win streak. We've lost 2 in a row. 2 in a row at this point. So definitely not ideal. We were still first in the Atlantic at the time. The Pens improved to 14-7-5, including 8-3-3 on the road. So they've been a pretty good road team, like the Rangers have been, which is kind of cool to see. Vasi's dealing with something right now. We're not sure. So the Bolts promoted Brandon Halverson from Syracuse to serve as the new number 2. JoJo, new number 1. The hope was that Vasi will be back in net against the Isles, but now we're learning that it might be a little longer. So we'll talk about that more in a little bit as well. Maxwell Crozier was also activated off the IR before this, so he made his return against the Penguins, which was nice. Okay. I need to do better looking these up. Sorry, y'all. Ville Koivunen, one of the Penguins' top rookies, he finally scored his first NHL goal, gave him 1-0 lead. And then goals from Malkin and Ben Kendall gave the Pens a 3-0 lead halfway through the second. But Cooch did score a goal, his 12th of the season, with less than 2 minutes left, cut the lead to 3-1. Double Hagel Bagel tied the game at 3 halfway through the third period. And man, both those goals were beauties. But then Malkin did score his second goal of the night with a 3 to play to give the Pens a 4-3 win. Now, we all know that was kind of a weird. That wasn't the right ending, as a lot of us know. We'll touch on that in a second. But assists on the night. Darren Radish had 2, 14 and 15 of the season. Gunsel had his 14th of the season. Nick Paul had his 4th. Goncalves had his 5th. JoJo had a bit of a tough night. 27 saves on the night. 871 save percentage. So the 4 goals really kind of hurt him. But yeah. Cooch scored, let's say this now. That was the game-tying goal. That should have been the game-tying goal. There shouldn't have been any argument about it. Right? But there was. And he scored the game-tying goal late in the third period, but it was ruled a no-goal due to the apparent hand pass from Hagel during the build-up. All right. The team wasn't too pleased about that call. A lot of fans weren't pleased about that call. Coop wasn't pleased about that call. We're going to talk about what Coop said here in a second. It was the wrong call because the Panthers literally did that on Saturday and they didn't get called. So, yeah. Coop post game on the Hagel hand pass. So I got a quote from Coop here and a quote from Hagel as well. Coop said this to D'Angelo. He said, "I think when you read the real rule book, which we did, that you try to dissect what happened in the play, and then you take it all into consideration. It's laughable that it got overturned. If I threw a microphone at you right now, would you put your hand up and stop it? Hell yeah, you would. So there's a spirit of the rule. Was it the spirit of the rule to take it in the face? I think that's where we get that wrong. He didn't direct any pucks. And then Hagel, he said this to Gabby Shirley after the game. He said, I don't know. He said, those were close. I was trying to protect myself when the puck comes around the boards. I guess maybe I lifted my glove. I don't know what you consider a hand pass, but that is besides the point. I mean, I think any sane person, any reasonable person, if a hockey puck was flying at their face, would put their hand up to protect themselves. So, let's hope that's, that's, can't really dwell on it more because that's the thing, it shouldn't have been that call, but it was, and it happens all the time. across the league, across sports, wrong calls all the time. So, yeah, that was a tough one, a tough pill to swallow. Tough pill to swallow because, that was 2 in a row, and now we have 3 in a row. Second loss to the Isles on the season. Lost to them 2-1 on Tuesday, and then now we lose to them 2-0 on Saturday. So 2 losses in a week to New York team is not the best, especially because we're going to play the Isles again pretty soon. Remember, we're playing them all 3 games of the season this month within a couple weeks span. So, Ilya Sorokin, man, gosh, so good at what he does. Shut out the Bolts. It was the Bolts' first shutout of the year. First time they lost via shutout, that is. 32 shots he stopped. Remember, he stopped 30 last Tuesday. He stopped 32 again on Saturday. Bolts are now 16-10-2. Really, it's kind of odd. Their form at the bench is super inconsistent. Like, on the road, feels like everything's okay, but like at the bench, they've just been... It's wild. They lost 5, maybe 6 games all season last year at the bench, and now they're at or past that mark. So, no bueno. Bruins are right there with us at the top of the Atlantic now at 34 points. Montreal, Detroit right behind us. They're at 33. So, it's a tight division. A lot of inconsistency, which we're not liking. Vasi, still dealing with the injury, so JoJo started again. For the first 2 periods of the matchup, him and Sorkin were going back and forth. They kept both sides scoreless. It was 0-0 going into the third period. Third period power play goal from Callum Ritchie was the game winner. Scored it about a little halfway over, so the loss really isn't on JoJo, PK's been pretty darn good this year, but they're still going to let in goals every now and then. It's the reason why it's a man advantage, So, pretty tough loss. Casey Cizikas scored an empty netter for the Isles with 2 seconds left to make it 2-0. So, basically, it was a 1-0 win, really. The Bolts were the better team, though, almost all night. And Coop talked about that. Coop touched on it. They won faceoffs at a 57.4% clip. And then we shot 32 times. There are nights where you can do everything you can and it should break your way and it should be your night. And it isn't your night. It does happen. And that's what happened to the Bolts. And Coop touched on that, Sorkin just had a answer all evening. Number 1 goalies like him, like Vasi, like Sherstian, like Hellebuyck, those guys just constantly shut down their opponents. That's what happened here. Plain as day. First time we were shut out all season. Now, the cool thing is, a couple positives. Watch one more negative, really, honestly. The offense that powered us to that 7-game win streak just a few days ago, right? It's wasn't anywhere to be seen against the Isles, and that's troubling. Because that's the second time that's happened. Remember, we lost 2-1 to the Isles in New York. But we were being shut out the majority of that game until Dominic James scored with just a few minutes left. So, we really need to show more consistent form. Because against the Penguins, we scored 4 goals. I'm just going to say that. We scored 4 goals. And I show that on the score sheet, but we did score 4 times. So, Cirelli had 6 shots on goal. Hagel had 5. Every Bolt except Goncalves and the returning Victor Hedman had a shot on goal. So, Hedman was activated for the long-term IR before the matchup. He missed 12 games, but he's back now. So he's back. Crozier's back, so that's good. I know we sent down Carlisle and believe Santini as well. So Hedman was on the third line as well with Crozier, so it was them on the third line, so they can kind of get their minutes limited coming back. But not bad at all. No post-game update, though, because Dominic James is dealing with some stuff. Vasi's dealing with some stuff. Chris Douglas. So there's no update from Coop. He did say he can't say whether or not Vasi will be available for the back-to-back starting tonight against Toronto and tomorrow against Montreal. 4-game road trip. Remember, we're playing the Maple Leafs, Canadians, Devils for the third time, I believe. At least the second time, but I'm pretty sure it's the third time. Yeah, because we've beat them once, lost once. And then the Islanders for our final matchup of the 4-game road set. So, Coop did talk about the process. He talked about post-game trusting it, right? Because we're in a losing streak. So he talked about this. Gabby Shirley shared his thoughts. He said this about trusting the process. He said, we have to. He said that is the only way. We are outplaying these teams, and the unfortunate part is what only counts is on the scoreboard. It's just the way it is going. These ones sting because you're playing pretty sound hockey, and you're not getting rewarded for it. Our job is to make sure that they don't change. the way they play, that we just keep plugging along and keep doing the right things, and eventually you'll get rewarded. Well, that's true. This team will get rewarded. It's going to happen. They are playing good hockey. That's the problem. They're shooting. It's not like early in the season when they weren't shooting and scoring. No, they're shooting 30 times a game, 32 times a game. Sometimes it doesn't go your way. Sometimes you get a missed call. We're just in a bit of a rut right now, but I feel like it's going to be breaking soon, and I really hope it's tonight against Toronto, because being the Maple Leafs is always one thing, as we all know. But yeah, so 3 in a row losses, tough. But Coop said it best. They're going through it. I think it's going to change soon. So, double barrel what if now. We're going to break down a couple guys. First is Simon Holmstrom from the Isles. 2019 first round pick by the Isles in his 4th season with them. 27 games this season. So this is before this weekend. -7 plus minus in a 15.36 time on ice average. 9 points, 4 goals and 5 assists. So not terrible. He's played in 75 games in back-to-back years. So he's improved. 2 years ago, 15 goals, 10 assists, 25 points, +2 plus minus 13-19 time on ice. Last year, 45 points, 20 goals, 25 assists. So a 20-point jump. +5 plus minus 16.51 time on ice. So he went up across the board on all the metrics. Kid might be pretty good. Does have currently does have a lower time on ice than last year. But he still shares a pretty solid load of the offensive contributions on the third line. So he probably would serve a similar role with us, third or fourth line guy. He did notch a +1 plus minus and 2 shots on goal in just under 20 minutes in their win on Tuesday against us. But yeah, he would be like part of, remember we've talked about, right, that next wave of talent coming up, those next guys. 24 years old, he'd serve as part of that, with Crozier, Goncalves, Geeky, Moser, James, all these other guys. He's going to be an RFA before the 2027-28 campaign. So he's already in position to ink a contract extension, I believe. I think, the Isles will probably work something out with him soon. But if not, we should definitely inquire asking about him, because, it's probably going to be a mid-tier extension, maybe a bridge deal for him. And if they can't work it out, they could definitely trade him, because he's good and he's getting better, but I don't know if he's proven to be truly untouchable for the Isles. So, but this guy might be, this other what if might be, but it's fun and I wanted to talk about it. And that is, sorry about that. That is Evgeny Malkin. 2004 second overall pick, is in his 20th NHL season, all with the Penguins, of course. 26 games this year, but this is before the Penguins matchup. 29 points, 8 goals, 21 assists, +5 plus minus, and 17.36 time on ice average. So still plugging along at he's getting up there. Did play 68 games last year, so 50 points, 16 goals, and 34 assists. Plus minus was tough, -24. He's really more of an offensive guy at this point, but the +5 this season is fun to see. 17.47 time on ice last year. Has played in all 82 games 4 times in his career, including back-to-back years twice, which is wild. 07-08 and 08-09. He played 82 straight. And then 2022-23 and 23-24. In addition to those seasons, he's played in 60-plus games in another 9 years. So 13 out of 20 years, 60-plus games, not bad. Malkin's dealt with a ton of injuries, but he's still contributing. He's timeless, honestly. Best season of his career was back in 08-09, 113 points that year, 35 goals and 78 assists, +17 plus minus, career high, 22.30 time on ice. He was also in the All-Star game, made the first All-Star team. Great year for him that year. Against the Bolts during the Pens 4-3 win, he had a +2 plus minus and 14.58 time on ice. 2 goals and 1 assist. Had another 3-point game. So he's going to be a UFA next summer. So he's got 3 options. Number 1, going back to Russia, retiring, maybe returning to play at the Pens. Would the Bolts be a 4th option? I would really love it, and I would love to trade for him because I think he'd be wild in our locker room. But this is Jordan Llanes signing off. We've got a pretty busy one tomorrow with a couple other recaps and previews, but I will see y'all then. Have a good one.